Can I interest you in some stock? Would you like some stock? Instead of me sending you money, I send you the stock?
Yes,
Don't sell it.
I'd like some stock, and it's gone.
Just hold it. Just don't sell. Hold it.
Yeah, I'm holding myself right now with your stock there, pal. Yeah, we're going to talk about our Wall Street exploits because some of the Cult of Cornette listeners are regulars out there, and we love you. Bless your little pea-picking hearts. We love you. We really do. All of the regulars out there who keep coming back for more may know we're a little bit late this week. And we must share the blame, Brian and myself, because I actually took a vacation day. I'll have you know on Saturday. More on that later. But then also, Brian, you have been the belle of the media ball. You have been contacted by some people that it's obviously out in public now that you've already been quoted, and some people that it is yet to be revealed have been speaking to you about this whole Kast media. Colin Thomson is now, he's not even Frank Nitti level. He's not even the enforcer, much less Al Capone. We started out thinking he was the big-time crook in this little fucking fiasco, and come to find out he's merely, as they used to say, a pawn in the game. And we got bigger fish that are in the process of being hooked and finning for their lives right now. They're fanning those fins out, but they ain't sticking nobody. They're getting stuck. They got hooks in their mouth that's a mile wide and a yard deep, and they're going to be, I think, twisting on vines or lines or whatever the case. Kast media was appropriate. We went casting for crooked fish, and we got some whales of fishes, crooked fishes. Basically, we got some big fish, so Kast media was apropos. We could do some fly fishing for big crooked fish. We got the net. We can trap them. Brian, it says that we're going to be eating crooked fish for a long time at Last Manor in Castle Cornette.
Eating crooked fish? It sounds like Baltimore Harbor. No, I think we always said privately, and I think we've even said it on the air, there are two big things here. One of them, and we'll talk more about this, is Live One, a publicly traded company getting into business with Colin Thomson, the tactics they use to try to strong-arm shows like us into deals with them. And we'll get into more about that, Live One, Podcast One, Rob Ellen. But the other big deal is Colin Thomson and this financial fraud. Taking money that was paid for podcasts and diverting it elsewhere. Not supplying accounting. Now there are multiple questions about the actual accounting. And you say I've been busy. I've never been busier because I'm getting hit up by members of the media.
We made Billboard.
We were in Billboard this past week.
See, I told you, I've told you my singing would get us into Billboard.
It wasn't that that got us in there. It wasn't that section of Billboard. So there are a lot of reporters circling this story. There are a lot of investigative reporters circling the story. And, we've gone public and talked about what we have gone through. Theo Von went public, talked about what he went through. Jason Ellis did the same thing. The similarities in all of our stories, and I had never talked to Theo or Jason before all this.
Oh, me and Theo go way back.
Well, it just so happens all of our stories are very similar of what went on. But there are more people that haven't spoken out. There are more people, we're very public about what we're doing. There's some people that aren't doing that with this. So this, we've been saying it since the beginning. This is a big story and it's going to get bigger. And I still think that's the case. I mean,
it's gotten more public and it's getting more attention because it's going farther up the food chain into more potential criminality and or at least the very least rude behavior. Let's just put it that way so we can get this legally cleared.
Well, we'll find out what happens, but Colin Thomson is certainly in a lot of trouble. And he can't talk his way out of this one.
And Gabe Fagluzzi, I hope I'm saying that right, a Cult of Cornette member sent me a custom-made corny coin. On the back of it, it says, "In Corny we trust," and everything. and I'm putting that in my coin collection.
How much stock would you like for it?
Well, I tell you what, send me. How are we going to work that with the Corny coin? I'll send all the Cornette's Collectibles customers $10 in Corny coin, and then when they send it back to me, this time I'll just keep it rather than sending them anything. So that way I'll come out ahead, right?
Right.
I get all the Corny coins made. See, before the fly in the ointment was that they were sending me back stuff and I was sending them merchandise, and then I had the same shit I started with, but they got the merchandise for nothing. So this time I'm going to make up all the Corny coins and send them to the customers. And then when the customers send them back to me, I'm just going to keep them and not send any merchandise out. And that'll show them. And then I'll get rich, right? Because I'll have all the Corny coins back that the people sent me and send out nothing in return. Well, that's foolproof.
You could stop with fool.
Well, wait, what's the matter with that now?
You're going to have a bunch of valueless currency all to yourself? What are you going to do with it?
I'd have all of it.
Who are you going to use it with? Who's going to take that currency in exchange for what?
Well, wait a minute. Oh, I know. People that do podcasts. I can take this meaningless currency and offer it to them instead of the money that I owe them.
That stock, by the way, right now, currently as we are recording at the moment, is $3.37 a share.
$3.37, down from $8 on Friday. The next trading day
down $1.02 today.
Well, that's because it dropped so far on Friday that it didn't have Safer to fall today. Well, and while we're at it, let's just update that also that Colin Thomson has been asked to not be a part of Podcast One or Live One or whatever this organization is calling itself this week to stay ahead of the law. Colin Thomson, now publicly they're saying, nope, we're not going to employ him. He's not going to come aboard. That's the latest story they're telling. How many stories does this make they're telling? He was coming, then he might come, then we're not sure if he's coming, well, then he's not going to come.
Colin told me on the phone that he was selling his company to Podcast One, which of course would have facilitated us being paid back, and him and his team were going there. The email that we got talking about the potential deal that they wanted us to take was all about how we would be continuing with our Kast team. Nothing in there, in terms of the way it was written, indicated Colin's not going to be a part of this. Other shows have now come out. Theo Von said it, that he was told Colin's going to be a part of this, that these guys defended him. When we went public and people started asking about that, they were all of a sudden told, reporters were told, from what I understand, that there were no guarantees that Colin's going to have a job. But they didn't completely back away from it. And then when Theo Von went public, and this got a lot of attention in the last few days, when the stock went public that morning, they released a statement that Colin Thomson will no longer be involved, or is not going to be with Podcast One or the parent company Live One. Doesn't say he's not going to be compensated, by the way. Doesn't say he's not going to receive stock for Kast shows that go there. We need to find out about all that. But apparently Colin Thomson won't be working there. And it took Theo Von coming out for them to finally get there, because he was already so toxic to anyone who already knows the situation. You were asking yourself, how could a publicly traded company move forward with him? It makes no sense. They were trying to. They were hoping that...
They did their best.
They were hoping that the angry wrestlers and the skateboarders would be ignored. And then all of a sudden it's got attention, and Colin had to go.
Well, but so would it work? Where are the Live One audiences? Where are the Live One offices, the Podcast One offices? They're out there in the West Coast of Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, California, somewhere.
Well, I certainly can't speak to their audience, but I could say I think they're in West Hollywood.
Collins, he's on his own private island now with all the money that he embezzled somewhere.
But we don't know that it's embezzlement, and that's part of the problem. We have no idea where all these millions of dollars went. You think about various options, and you're like, well, how could all of that money disappear for any of these things? I mean, there's just no reasonable answer to any of the questions.
Well, now, wait a minute. Now, no, they've set a precedent for money disappearing, and now the stock price is disappearing, and it's gone. So they're dropping like a turd in a toilet bowl is the stock price of this venture. So they've shown a proclivity, you like that word, a proclivity for being able to lose money, a talent for it. So I'm pretty sure they could fucking lose money in any situation easily. These folks. Well, more on as we hear more reports from the real detectives that are on the cases, we will fill people in on that.